Hey guys, welcome to the LAN Detectives YouTube channel. My name is Rob Scott, the founder.
And I'm Reece McCaskill, the co-founder.
And I'm Tegha Omamogho, the general manager.
And today we're going to be presenting to you a special project that I once had in my mind, and that is known as
the BGP Daisy Chain. And Tegha is going to explain a little bit about it.
So we have four racks which combine of Class A addresses within the 20, 10, 20, 30 range, and we are going to configure BGP on them.
Okay, so stay tuned for the action.
As you can see on screen, we have four racks and 3 racks in each one. We will be configuring BGP on the serial links and EIGRP on the FastEthernet links.
Okay, so now that we've got our plan done in Packet Tracer, this is the kit that we are actually going to make the Daisy Chain on. So as you can see, we've got a couple of switches and routers here that have already been turned on prior to our setup. And we are going to be using these patch panels down here for basically consoling in to the appropriate pieces of hardware. And the majority of the configurations will be on the routers, but what you will see later on in the videos is a couple of fast Ethernet cables that are going to be plugged into the switches, which will be plugged in to the PCs. Okay, so as you can see, we've started on the first line, which is basically rack 1's line, where we have fast Ethernet cables, and now we're working horizontally on the top layer. If you remember from the picture that we showed you in the beginning, where we had a fast Ethernet cable going down on the left hand side, and then one going up across from rack 1 over to rack 2, which will be the fourth, let's say, list of routers. And at the moment, because of the fact that the cables are too short, we're going to have to patch the connection through using the patch panels, which are very beneficial if you have, let's say, a lab like this.
So as you can see, we've patched up each cable on the outer edges of the topology. Now we are going to interconnect the inner connections of the topology using serial links.
Brilliant, thank you, Tegha. And we've done the same on rack 3 and rack 4, and as you can see, we have already some interfaces that are up, but when we start configuring them, they will actually be authorized to be up. And yeah, so we're doing really well. What we've got to do now is do the inner part, which is the serial connections, and then we will be ready to go. Okay, so as you can see now, we have pretty much connected everything to where it needs to go, and there's quite a lot of serial cables as opposed to fast Ethernet cables, and we've made like a little spider diagram with all serial cables connected, and we've got some more down there as well, and we've also modified the plan because of the interfaces being different to what we had originally. So at the end of the video, I'm going to be showing you the final result, and then we will continue on our configuration part. Configuration has been sorted in terms of putting static IPs on all interfaces, and as you can see, we've got life on all of the routers. So there's rack 3, and then rack 4 is just underneath this wire of serial cables, or chain of cables, there we go. And there's quite a lot of cables down there, and these are what we used for this particular project. We still have the spider that's trying to hold everything in place, and now we are ready to actually configure BGP and EIGRP. Okay, so after a lot of configuration, we have finally managed to configure BGP and EIGRP, and as you can see, that's a very big routing table. And over here as well, we're using routers 42 and 32, and we're now going to do a little outro, so stay tuned for that.
Okay, so that concludes our project. So we started off planning out the Daisy chain using Packet Tracer, and we modified a few of the configurations because the serial port numbers were actually different to the ones on the real kit, so we actually kind of had to work around that. We had to really understand which interfaces are which, and we eventually got them running. So at the end of this outro, I'm going to show you a little preview of our final basically piece of work, which is the Daisy chain on the real kit. So Reece is going to say a few things about the issues that we've actually witnessed when we were working through.
Yeah, so basically we had a few issues with faulty cables and plugging them into the wrong ports, which was fun. Easier done than said, to be honest, because yeah, I have flipped that around in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
And we've also configured the wrong IP addresses. That was fun to figure out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. We've had quite a lot of fun. Over 7 hours it took to complete this task.
Yeah, and it would be nice to do it for another project that we're going to be working on, but we're not going to tell you guys just as yet. And also click here for the behind the scenes of this particular project. And
From my phone.
Yep, from his phone right there. And until then, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.